Thanks to those joining me live and to those that be joining me on Archive D Style. Hey, what's going on, everybody? All right. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. That way you're notified every time DStyleBoxing is live. That's a bell button. Hit that thing like a speed bag. All right. And make sure you throw a jab at that like button. All right. Throw a jab at that like button. Joseph Brown already in the house. What's going on? Again, make sure you guys throw a jab at that like button as you come in. There are calls, all right, all different types of calls to make changes to the sport. And I don't like them. I don't want the sport to change at all. I mean, there's things we can improve, right? Now, this weekend, a lot of things happen, right? Dillian White was caught using uninspected gloves, which is amazing to me. I in the year 2019, after situations like the Resto situation happened, that's happening. I can't believe that. Okay, that is insane to me. And using PEDs. And the guy comes out and he talks. Dillian White's like, yo, I can't believe everything. I cannot say anything because I have my lawyer looking at it. Fuck you. Okay. We're going through the process and he wants fair and square, he says. Go look at his Twitter. Fucking disgusting. All right. Dillian White's a piece of shit. All right. But that's one thing. We also had deaths of two fighters, man. In Argentina, Hugo Santillan, all right, passed away. Swelling in the brain, right? And Maxim Dadashev, unfortunately, in a televised fight in the U.S., right? And that's why this one hit home hard, because it was a televised fight on ESPN, right? So it hit home more because of that. I think it's ESPN Plus, but nonetheless, he passed away. Even though his corner stopped the fight, I believe at the right time, it looked like it. But I think what we can learn is, okay, the commissions, man, like this, you got to get ready. All right, we have commissions that go hundreds of fights, nothing happens, and then they drop the ball right away. You got to be ready. This dude should have been on a stretcher in the ring and out of there. Every second is vital. Every second counts. Right? So the commissions have to do a better job. Right? They've dropped the ball in New York, in California. So it's not just one commission I'm talking about. Right? There was that, if somebody could put in the chat, there was that Russian fighter. I believe he was Russian. He might have not been Russian. But there was that fighter from years back on HBO that was in an induced coma for weeks. And it will never be the same again. Right? A couple weeks ago, Zab Judah was in an induced coma. Thankfully, Zab Judah came out all right. I hope he stays away from the ring. Right? So at the end of the day, I understand that a lot of things that were, already happening. But everybody needs to understand, man, Chael Sonnen came out, all right? Dude comes out. I want you guys to hear this. You guys got to hear this bullshit, man, okay? We're going to play this at not normal speed, but a little faster speed. Check this out.
Died over the weekend from damage that he took in his contest. Now, this is a very tough topic. It's a very serious topic. I am terrible with names. And when I get a name wrong, I feel that is very condescending to do. So I'm not going to attempt the name. But the Russian boxer was in a contest, and he was just getting hit a lot. Right? That's the sport. He was failing in terms of competing with his opponent. He wasn't getting out of the way. He was taking a lot of shots. Now, in between rounds, Buddy McGirt, very respected, very famous boxing coach, is seen, caught on camera, caught on microphone, pleading with his fighter. Let me stop the fight. And he's pleading. He's saying the word please. Then he starts upping his language, and he ups his tone. He's very strong with his opponent. but with his fighter. But ultimately, he does leave it to the fighter. Just give me the nod. Say I have your permission. I'm going to stop this fight. And he told him, you're just getting hit a lot. You're getting hit too much. You're getting hit. Let's stop the fight. Buddy McGirt did a great job. I just want to offer that because I'm well aware that in the evidence that we have now, that's going to be very hard for Buddy. I don't think any of us will judge him. I certainly hope that we wouldn't. But if we do judge him, let's come to the right conclusion. That he saw what he saw. He was right in his analysis. And he pled with his fighter to allow him to.
So far, I don't have an issue so far with what Chael's saying. You know what I mean? At the moment, right? At this current moment, I don't have an issue with what he's saying. All right? But I have an issue with what he's going to say in a little bit. All right?
They, I can assure you, have their own deal. Coach McGirt and his fighter have their own deal behind the scenes of what to do in that kind of situation. I think it became very obvious that their deal was, buddy, you bring it to me and then let me make the ultimate decision. That's what it certainly appeared to be. So very tough spot for everybody. But so many people have brought up the question of what can we do to make sure this doesn't happen in the future? Now, whenever this happens in combat, you know the black eye that it gets. And I don't like to shun from this because it's very real and it's very serious. And it is a contact sport. I would just like to remind you, we see this in all sports. A swimmer recently died. A basketball player a number of years ago died. He was actually chewing gum on the court. Football players are taking their... You see some of these things. I just don't want it to be a total black eye to this sport of combat.
Now, notice what he just said. Oh, this happens in all sports. First of all, all right. I don't know about did a basketball player die chewing gum? I don't know about that. I don't. What does that have to do with basketball? I don't know. Swimmers have died. Yes, athletes die. But it's usually in other sports, man. It's not really about like the sport itself, but someone that shouldn't have been, wasn't healthy enough to be participating in a sport, being in a sport. Boxing, combat sports in general, you have to pass physicals and things of that nature. All right. So it's hard for somebody to just die that way. What's going on to Joe Host, Joseph Brown, Blood Boxing, Lord, Chent Smoke, all you guys, G-Funk 84, what's going on? All right. Cal Enigma in the house. What's going on? Let me just get through this, guys. Right? But I just want to throw it out there. It's funny how he's saying, well, it happens in other sports too. But then listen to what he's going to say right after this.
If we're being fair here and we're being mature about it, but whenever I hear the question of what can be done to prevent this in the future, guys, the answer is simple and the answer is obvious and it's right in front of us. So let's either pretend that we do care or let's stop pretending. It's one of the two. But the duration and the length of these contests is not what the human body was made for. And it is silly and it was ridiculous. The fact that he was even scheduled to be out there for 12 rounds is silly and it's ridiculous. And before you push back on me, the commissions agree with me. They agree with me in the respect that it used to be endless rounds. Way back in the 1800s, you could fight 100 rounds. Now, a round was different back then. Every time there was a knockdown, that was called a round. I understand that. But when the regulation came in, they went to 15 rounds. When I was growing up watching...
Whoa. Was Chael listening to one of my videos? Because I talked about that in one of my videos. He never mentioned that ever. Okay? And it happened to be a video with his name on the title. About the rounds. How they used to do rounds. Something tells me. But anyway, I find it funny, Chael. Just a while ago, you said boxing was just a show. You said it wasn't a real sport. Remember that? Remember when you were saying that, Chael? And now you're talking about people pretending to care? I think somebody's pretending to care. I don't think it's us boxing fans. Someone's pretending to care, Chael. And I think I know who it is. I think we all know who's pretending to care. We know exactly who's pretending. Listen a little more, Chael.
Sugar Ray Leonard, it was 15 rounds. They looked and said, that's not right. They pulled it back to 12. I appreciate and applaud that, but they still don't have the right number. Why is it that when we hear of these stories, and yes, they're...
No, the commissions didn't just look at 15 rounds and say, that's ridiculous, and cut it. No, that's not what happened. Okay, well, what a dumb, right? There was a death in boxing, okay, and they say so we can no longer have deaths or reduce deaths. We're going to take it from 15 to 12 rounds. Okay? That was the Kim when he got killed with Mancini. Right? Now, there was still a little after that. Not all the sanctioned bodies got on board right away, but eventually they did. It didn't all happen just the day after or something like that. You know what I mean? So there'll be people out there that know a little more about that than me and with the specifics, right? But that's why it happened. Now, obviously, we still have deaths, right? Like they're still happening. So I'm not exactly sure if we would have had more deaths if we still had 15 rounds. There's no real proof of that. But nonetheless, fine. Okay, they've already done that. They've already done the whole let's cut some rounds, right? So we're gonna listen to some more of this.
Few and far between, I'm aware of that, but they are never zero in the amateurs. Why are amateur boxers or amateur wrestlers or taekwondo or judo or any other form of combat not subject to these dark moments?
I can't believe what he just said. First of all, judo, bro. Like, come on, dude. Like I have respect for judokas, man. Like, it's a hell of an art. But don't. We know why there isn't deaths in judo. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Okay. In wrestling, we know why there's no deaths in wrestling. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Okay. That has to be the dumbest shit I ever heard. Boxing is story in the house. What's going on? Not that these aren't brutal sports and taxing to the body and not that a wrestler can't fuck you up. That's not. I'm talking about the optics of why they don't die. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm kind of putting out there. Now, all that aside, amateur. Have you guys seen amateur boxing? If Chael Sonnen's answer is, oh, what we should do is just turn pro boxing into amateur boxing, and nobody will die. Yeah, and nobody will watch. Okay? And nobody would fucking watch. Nobody would watch the sport. Nobody would watch it. No, like, amateur boxing is fencing with gloves. That's what it is. They stop fights once the dude's bleeding. Are you shitting me? Why doesn't anybody ever... First of all, I don't even know that's true. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. No one's ever died in the history of amateur boxing. I don't know if that's true. I doubt that's true for some reason. Something tells me that's just probably not true. But still, maybe not recently, but they used to do amateur boxing without it. Like, they brought back the no headgear thing for the Olympics. I'm not sure if it's for boxing in general, but it's still fucking fencing with gloves. It's boxing without the brutality. Well, why? If you want to watch a sport that isn't brutal, boxing is not the way. Go watch tennis. Go watch golf. Go watch another sport that isn't brutal. Well, why are you making boxing not brutal? That's stupid. And let's get to a little more, Chael. Just a little more, right?
And before you tell me it's because their uniforms are different, you are wrong. They are not. And before you tell me their skills and their power are different, that is silly and ignorant of you because every single professional has an amateur background. All of them, 100%. So it's the same guys doing the same thing. They were just calling it amateur. So what is the difference? The difference is the rounds. The difference is the amount of time allotted that they are allowed and expected to be out there. There is no other difference. So we either shorten the time of the combat and of the competitions, and we show everybody that we are forward-thinking, that we are observant and understanding and compassionate, or we don't. We leave it the way it is, but there's no room to go both ways anymore.
All right, that's enough of that. All right? Look, man. People calling for the sport to change. I am, and it's. I saw a lot of Coleman, former UFC fighter, right? MMA fighter comes out and says, "Man, this is devastating. I think what boxing should do is cut the amount of rounds." When does it stop? Right? We'll go for 12. We're gonna go to 10, right? Is that what you want to do? So you're guaranteeing me there's gonna be no deaths in boxing. We lower the rounds. That's what you're saying. Is that what you're telling me? First of all, let's get to the nitty-gritty here. Let's get to the facts, guys. Okay? Let's get to the facts. Most deaths in boxing, most of them, are due to mismatches. That's number one. Okay? So we should have, and a lot of them don't happen in the States, by the way. They happen in other countries. So that's the first thing we need to address. right? So it's obviously, if there's a mismatch, bro, those fights don't go 12 rounds. I have news for you. Many of them don't. Okay? So it's not about the number of rounds in that case. So we can do something about that. And we already do. We don't sanction fights, okay? We're not supposed to if it's a complete mismatch. That's why they have a somewhat of a ranking system, okay? And that's why we keep away from drastic mismatches. Like, they're never going to put me in the ring with Wilder. Like, no common sense person is going to do that, okay? Because I'd probably be 6 foot under after that fight, all right? So, like, there's a reason that doesn't happen. So that's number two, dehydration. Dehydration is another big reason for deaths in boxing. Has nothing to do with the number of rounds, has nothing to do with any of that. And many of it is in the lower weight classes. So we got to do something about that. Just yesterday, I found out there's an atom weight. Atom weight. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a joke. I was like, no way. I went to Box Rec and they have it. That's some motherfucker messing with us, put it on Wikipedia or some shit. You know how you could edit shit on Wikipedia? I thought some asshole put that shit. That's not true. They have an atom weight. An atom weight, 102 pounds. 105 is too low. There's only like 100 boxers with that weight. Are you kidding me? They have an atom weight. I can't believe it. I can't. But anyway, now Chael doesn't know this, so that's why he doesn't address this. Okay? Because MMA has the same issue with the rehydrations. They just don't have as many weight classes. That's why you don't see deaths there. But those are the two main reasons. So you could fix it one of two ways. You got to do either percentage the next day, all right, to make sure guys are not fighting and rehydrating an outrageous amount of weight that don't look like skeletons at the scales, because that's dangerous, all right? And when you're dehydrated, you don't have enough, oxygen in the brain and in your body, and it's just more likely you're going to take the damage is going to be worse, all right? Day before weigh-ins did not make boxing safer. It made it more dangerous. Do you guys not understand that? Combat sports in general are more dangerous because guys get to weigh in before the fight. In MMA, dudes go down. They don't go up, they go down. I'm at heavyweight. I'm not good enough. You know what? I'm going to go down to light heavyweight. I'm going to go down to middleweight. It happens all the time. Weight class is separated by 10, 15 pounds. And you can't even make the shit up. Why? Because they want to be the much bigger guy the day of the fight. That's why. The only sanctioning body doing it right now, all right, is the IBF. At least they have that rehydration clause. Well, that's it. So those are the two main reasons. The other ones you just can't. There's nothing you can do, dude. Right? What other crap am I hearing? What other crap I'm hearing about? Oh, but DStyle. Well, they should fight with bigger gloves. I just threw my Sharpie. Fight with bigger gloves, DStyle. Okay, let's make them absorb more shots. Perfect. Well, that's brilliant. Not to mention not aesthetically pleasing to watch. Another thing. Okay? Well, you really want to literally turn into pillow fighting? Like, what the fuck's going on over here? The bigger gloves thing is stupid. Oh, have them wear headgear. It's not going to make boxing safer. It's not going to aesthetically pleasing to watch. No. Right, that's another thing. But it's not going to make it safer. Headgear doesn't make things safer. Okay? Headgear is smart to wear, like in training camps, or you don't get a cut or some shit like that. It stops that. It stops the outer layer cuts and stuff like that. But it just allows you to take more damage. There's more head trauma because of it. Well, what are the crap am I hearing? Oh, I heard somebody say it's always the MMA dudes. They think they know. They don't even watch boxing. Okay? You know what they should do is, they should totally go to 6 rounds, bro. It would also make the sport more exciting if you went to 6 rounds. What the fuck you talking about? Huh? What the fuck you talking about? It'll make the sport more exciting. First of all, it's not going to make the sport safer if dudes are just going balls to the walls from round 1 on. Okay? It's not going to make it safer. That's number 1. All right? That's not going to make it safer. Like, are you kidding me? Like, be honest. When those idiots say it'll make it more exciting, well, what do they mean? We know what they mean. They're going to throw more and land more, right? How the fuck is that making it safer, you blithering idiots? How's that making it safer? You blithering idiots. God damn. Lastly, you guys are watching a combat sport, dude. There's the word's combat in it. There's a gladiatorial nature to the sport. Okay? It's dangerous and guys can die. That's the reality. That's what you're watching. Don't you understand that? Doesn't mean we want death. It doesn't mean we're crying for death. It just means that we know, okay, that that's a possibility. Pretending that we could make changes and drastically change the whole thing to make it not dangerous is stupid. Because that's not why people watch it. There's plenty of sports that aren't dangerous. There's plenty of sports that aren't gladiatorial in nature. Plenty of them. Plenty of them. This is insane. Number 1, these guys are doing this voluntarily. No one is forcing professional boxers to fight. Nobody. They're not being forced to fight. But this sport, boxing saves more lives than it takes by far. It'll take a life or 2 a year, but guess what? It saves hundreds, thousands of them. It puts food on tables, all right? Just yesterday, I was watching fights on Telemundo. These guys weren't top-level fighters, man. They weren't. I looked at the purses. One dude made like $15,000. For him, that's a lot of money. For him, that means for the next 6 months or so, he doesn't have to worry about the mortgage. That's what that means. Unless you're going to hand these dudes this money, shut the fuck up. This is how they feed their families, many of them. To many of them, it's that second job they need to sustain the type of life that they want for their family. So stop the nonsense. And for journeymen, there is 6 rounds, 4 rounds that they fight. That already exist. 10 rounds, 12 rounds, that's for the highest level. Okay? So stop the nonsense. I don't have to go to the lives that turned around, rags to riches, dudes that became multi-millionaire. I don't have to go that far. I can show you just the guys that I saw on TV the other day just trying to make a living and doing what they love, by the way. It's what they want to do. And people that aren't fans of boxing, don't give a shit about the sport, are coming around trying to take that away from them. Santian and Dadashev, all right, are not here for you to virtual signal. That's not what it is. For you to show me your stupid morality and how much moral you are than me. And that's not what it is. These are tragedies. That's what it is. No one wanted that. But I'll be the first ones to come back and tell you, leave the sport like it is. I guarantee you that. That I could guarantee you. Okay? At the end of the day, all right, if they start like, man, they're going to kill the sport if they make changes to it. Okay? You keep picking away. What's going to happen? No more 12 rounds. We're going to go to 10 rounds. There's going to be deaths, and what's going to happen? Oh, okay, we're going to go to 8 rounds. There's going to be deaths. Oh, okay, we're going to go to 6 rounds. Now, what the fuck is left? Well, what is left after that? Oh, let's just turn it into amateur boxing. Oh, brilliant idea, you fucking blithering idiots. Oh, that'll fix everything, sure. These guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. It's unbelievable. I agree with Boxing Dialogue. These refs got to be better shape. Absolutely. Cornbread only corners and docs need to be concerned with fighter safety. Yeah, and we already got shit in place for that, man. We already got doctors there. We already got all that. Yes, boxing historian, but the reality is, if there isn't counter arguments, and usually let one side make arguments, okay? It's we have blithering idiots over there in Washington, okay? Republicans and Democrats, they're stupid enough to make the whole thing. You know what I mean? They're stupid enough. Okay, they are stupid enough, okay, to make a change, thinking, we're going to make this safer. We're going to cut it. Just 2 rounds, If this fight was, they stopped the data shift fight in the 11th round. So if we only had 10 rounds, maybe he'd still be alive. Like, that's their stupid logic. And whether we like it or not, the government runs the regulations. So if they want to, they can overnight make this change. And they're all of these lots, man, they're a bunch of hypocrites, all of them. Now, Apple Time, I don't agree that we should force fighters or require them to fight 3 times a year. You know what I mean? I don't know about that. I like fighters to be more active, but, just saying. I don't know about that. But that's just my opinion. I just don't understand, man. By the way, somebody asked me, I forgot who asked me, but I have Ramirez tonight. And I'm glad it's a 12-round fight. Okay? Man, I am sick of people, man. Every single time there's a tragedy, like they want to change things and change the way it's done. And like all this, like no, bro. Like the boxing is what it is. Okay? Boxing is what it is. Boxing's too real for people out there, man. It's what it is. Boxing is just too real. You know, when they come around and say, I don't know, boxing's fixed, it's not a real sport. It's too real for them. It's too real. Like they talk so much shit about the sport, and as soon as something too real happens, they're talking about banning it. Just a couple weeks ago, Chael Sonnen was saying it's not a real sport, and that what was he saying? That it just raise your hand. You could become a world champion in boxing if you want. Anybody could do it. It's just that's what he was saying. That's a piece of cake, right? All these celebrities are saying dumb shit like, boxing, they have big pillow gloves. It's what's so dangerous about that compared to what Conor does and all this other shit. It was convenient then, and then something too real happens. Like a grim reminder that this is boxing. This was boxeo. This is boxing. A grim reminder happens as to the realities of this sport. And the same people that hate defense, and the same people that bitch and moan when 2 fighters are being too technical in there. The same people that bitch and moan that we need shorter rounds, not for safety, but for more action, meaning more punches landed in a shorter span of time. Okay, the more that happens, right? It's just those same people are the first ones to come out. Oh my God, why are we still doing this in 2019? It's too brutal. Prize fighters are a special breed, man. That's what they are. and we celebrate them for a reason, okay? And for everybody that always bitches, moans, and cries, "Ooh, why do these fighters make, millions of dollars, man?" Like, this is why, okay? This is why a top echelon fighters make 6 figures and 7 figures, 8 figures. This is why, okay? Because it's dangerous, and yes, they've earned it, okay? They put their lives on the line. What do you mean they didn't earn it? This is why. So while you're over there bitching and moaning, just saying, the sport's dangerous. It's always going to be dangerous. And that's it. Okay. In a couple weeks, a lot of these dudes are going to forget about Dadyshev. Okay. They're going to forget about, any fighter that's ever died. They're going to forget about all these fighters. And they're going to go back to the same old shit. Right? They're going to go back to the same old shit. They're going to see a boxing fight they say is boring, and then they're going to be like, "Oh, this sport, man, it's pillows in their hands." And their whole perspective's going to change. Their whole perspective's going to change. The whole thing. Fuck those people. Okay? Simple as that. I don't got time to worry about what these people think. And I agree, they should get paid more than regular athletes. But, should is another thing. What's up, Frank the French? Yo, what's up? DStyle. Came here from Kelly Nigman Jr., the Truth Channel. Salute. What's going on? Fighters need to be paid more than the regular athletes, says the boxing historian Cornbread. I want to see the absolute punishment of a man can't stand and still throw these things. I don't care about the contest part at all, really. Look, at the end of the day, let these fighters do what they do. These fighters know what they're signing up for. They know the risk involved, and that's it. It's a brutal sport. This is what you're watching. Man, I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you're a boxing fan or you say you are, and in any way, shape, or form, you're calling for limits in rounds and bigger gloves and all this other nonsense, okay? If you're one of those, then you're watching the wrong sport. You might as well be part of the people that want to ban boxing, right? Go watch something else. Like, get away from the sport, bro. Like, I'm just being honest. You may think, oh, you're being on the good side of morality. You may think, well, I'm on the good side of morality. No, bro. No, you're not on the good side of morality because you're taking away from fighters. Okay, you're taking away from other fighters is what you're doing. AJ10 says boxers know that what they're getting into. I am for boxing to change if there's huge push from the boxers themselves. Fair enough. Bam Bam tweet. Then you don't truly appreciate the sweet science, he says. Tyrone Slayer, even as a little kid, I knew that boxers could be fully aware they can die in the ring. Keep Boomerang, remember Figueroa. Why is his team wanted the fight to continue? It was outrageous. More responsibilities of the boxer team. Absolutely. I agree. It was just unnecessary at that point. With that said, guys, I want to thank everybody that came on live. Make sure you throw a jab at that like button. All right. And I'll be on later tonight for sure. I'm going to be doing that Figueroa. I'm sorry. What the hell am I talking about? The Hooker, fight with the Ramirez on the zone, bro. I'm going to be covering that fight. Do the play-by-play, the punch. Boxing, sorry, martial arts, combat sports is the manly and masculine thing we have left in the society. Take it away and everything is, yeah, I got you. Salute deuces, Leon Robinson. For those that just came in, you can always go back and watch this on archive. I'll appreciate it if you go back. Something plays at the beginning. It'll be appreciated if you could watch that. It's like, take that money from those corporations. That's all I'll say. All right. With that said, I want to thank everybody that tuned in, man. Everybody. All right. This is DStyle. I'm out. Peace.